Welcome, my fellow patriots, to today's Save Our Republic Daily video. Today is actually Abraham Lincoln's birthday, and so I'm going to be focusing on perhaps his best-known speech and one that has really been transformational and fundamentally important to America, and that is the Gettysburg Address. I'm not going to try to describe what the Gettysburg Address actually does. And the words it uses, because it's so short and so powerful that I don't think that's necessary. All I'm going to do right now is recite it, and then I'll wrap up this episode with a couple of comments. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that the nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little note, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work for which they who fought here thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave their last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, it's, like I said, much more eloquent than I can give it justice. Personally, I think right next to the Patrick Henry "Give me liberty, give me death" speech is perhaps the best and finest oration ever uttered in the English language. And it has had a fundamental transformation in our society by rededicating us to that founding first principle that all men are created equal. And that motivated the abolitionist, the Reconstruction era, the civil rights struggles, not just for African Americans, but for all racial and ethnic and gender minorities, although really women are a majority, but those words help give a rebirth to that suffragette and civil rights struggle as well for women. And so this is Abraham Lincoln's birthday. You should help renew the spirit of America by celebrating his legacy. I'd ask that you like and share this particular episode. Don't forget about America's Survival Guide, How to Stop America's Impending Suicide by Reclaiming Our Founding First Principles in History. There is a chapter here dedicated to racial equality. There's also a chapter dedicated to gender equality. And don't forget about Patriot Week. Yesterday, to celebrate and commemorate Lincoln's birthday, we had a members-only event that was great. We did a toast. We did the reading that I just did. We also had a small concert. It was really fabulous. So if you want to get involved, go to patriotweek.org. And don't forget, if you want to have real in-depth learning about the Declaration of Independence and all the things that make America great, visit or listen to the Patriot Lessons American History and Civics podcast. Until next time, God bless you, and God bless America.